Hi everyone, welcome back to
Everyone.
our live training webinars. Hi Arwen, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. We'll just
Yes.
wait a little minute while we've got people
Yeah,
joining. Oh, you can
no
see there's a couple come
worries.
on already. Hi everyone, nice to see you.
Perfect.
We'll be running this as we have done the other ones. So Armin's going to run through custom fields for us today. So that's going to be the focus of this session, and we'll finish off with a live Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions that come to you during the session, do drop them in the comments for us, and we'll answer them at the end, answer as many as we can. I have had a couple through on email, so we've already got a couple that we need to run through, Arwin. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, right. How are we doing for numbers? Oh,
I'm
someone's.
excited for this one, Lauren. They're a bit of a hidden gem, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, they're another really good function, aren't they? And just another thing to. I think sometimes as well, you kind of set a few bits up when you're on board and then kind of forget about it. But there's so much more you can
yeah,
do with it, isn't there? So yeah, right. Okay.
exactly that. And just things that you can't log at the minute. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Hi, Phil. Oh, Phil's back. Phil's our like most dedicated viewer. I might have to
Oh,
get him a t-shirt.
I feel he is. Absolutely.
Right. Okie dokie. All right. Well, I think we'll kick off. So I will get your
Perfect.
screen showing. Bear with
Thank
me
you.
just a
Hopefully, no
minute.
technical issues with screens today.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. They have reassured me that it's fixed. So we'll pray to the software gods that it'll go smoothly today. All right.
So thank you again, Lauren, and a warm welcome to everyone that is joining us for our webinar today. We're going to be focusing on custom fields, as we mentioned, and I personally believe that these are such an hidden gem within Business Pilot. I always say that they can be the key to reducing your admin work and certainly some of that more manual entry that you might still be doing at the moment. And who doesn't love the sound of that? So, in this session today, I want to inspire you with ideas on how to use custom fields. I'm going to show you how to create them and explore some of those different options that we have available for them. And I'm going to demonstrate where they appear in the lead and the contract records. Plus, I'll walk you through how you're going to be able to include these fields in your email and document templates. Business Pilot already offers so many intuitive fields to help you maintain those quality records in your leads and contracts. However, it might just be that your business may need these additional fields specific to your operations, and that's where these custom fields are going to come in. So, without further ado, let's dive straight in. Exactly is a custom field? A custom field is a field that you create via the admin menu, allowing you to add up to 5 bespoke fields in both lead and contract records. So you're going to have 10 overall by the stage of contract completion. These fields are designed to help you capture vital information that isn't necessarily included in the standard setup. So where will you see these custom fields? So you have the option to display them in either a dedicated tab, such as this one that can be found in the lead area, labelled custom fields, or you have the option to display them directly on your main lead or contract details screen. Now I'm in a leads record here, and I'm going to find my custom fields down here in the right hand corner. So let me give you an example. Firstly, today I'm going to focus on the lead area, and then we're going to move over to the contract section a little bit later. So a useful custom field for leads could be quote valid until. Now, by setting this date field, you can easily select a deadline for your quotations. That might be that your quotes are valid for 30 days. So on the date that I send the quote over, it allows me to come in here and have somewhere specific to update when that quote expires. What that's going to do is ensure that all the team members are on the same page. Another example might be scaffolding cost. So if your company provides scaffolding quotes alongside any roofline or even window and door estimates, if it's applicable, then you might want a field labelled scaffold estimate. Now this can be a currency field, which is going to make it easy to track, and it will also allow you to pull it through into any of your templates. Now, one of my favourite examples, which actually always gets a great response when I'm out on my training sessions, is the profile colour. Since these custom fields allow for a drop-down list, you can specify available colours and finishes that you as a company offer. This might be something such as white or white wood grain, or you might be able to reflect something such as rosewood on white. It can even include some of those more specific RAW numbers, such as RAW 7016 or RAW 7032 on white. And the best part about this is you can update the list anytime to suit your business needs. Custom fields for me are exactly that. They are customizable to reflect the unique requirements of your business, and it's going to ensure that your records and reports contain the most relevant information to you. And not only that, it is also going to allow you to track some of that such key information. Let's look to create a custom field. So I'm going to use my profile colour example today. So I'm firstly going to head over into my admin menu. And then under my company and users, I'm going to click on custom fields. Perfect. And you'll see here that it separates into lead fields and contract fields. So because I'm looking to add into my leads today, I'm going to click on add custom field in my lead section. Then I'm going to look to name my field. So I'm going to call that profile colours. There, I'm going to select my object type. Now what this is trying to specify is where I would like to see this field. So I'm going to select lead in here. Okay, and then just underneath there, we have our field type. So with our field type, you'll see that we've got plenty of options here. And as we saw earlier, we can include for date, currency. This can also be numbers, so we can reflect quantities in here. It might even be a text box as well, which will allow you to put in some free text. And then we also have a drop down or list. Now that's what I'm going to be working with today. So that's what I'm going to select. And then we're going to decide where the field will appear. So this is where we have our option to say whether we want to see our custom field in a tab of its own or whether we would like to see it on the main page. Now, I prefer having everything all in one place, so I'm going to choose my main page today. Okay, and then I can use this simple yes or no toggle, and what that's going to do is say yes or no to creating a system note whenever the field has changed. And then just below here, we can now start to create our list of colour options that will then allow me to select these from my custom field. So I'm going to kick things off with just putting in white initially. And then I can click on my plus icon at the end to lock in my new option. Then I can proceed to add in all my other colour options. So secondly, I'll put in white wood grain. And then just remembering to click on my plus once again. So I just went ahead and added in a few more of my colour options. So now that I have my completed list, I can go to the bottom here and click on add. Okay, and that's my profile colours drop-down list added to my custom field. So next, I'd like to take us back into that lead page, see our new field in action, and then we can see how we can get that updated from within that record as well. Okay, so with our custom fields complete, let's head into that lead then, and we can see our new profile colours custom field in action. So I'm going to go into my lead. And then because I know that I chose to include my custom field on my main page, I know that I'll find it down here in my right-hand corner. So I can now go to my profile colours drop down, and then I can select the colour of the profile here. So I'm going to select white wood grain. And then just remembering that anytime you are updating any of these custom fields, or to be honest, any field that you will find on this main lead details page, always remembering to click update in that bottom right hand corner. So what this is now going to allow you to do is just be able to update some of those key dates, such as quote valid until. It will allow you to track any of those more separated costs, such as that scaffold cost. And now I've even got a way to reflect a colour. Now, what these fields allow us to do is have clear visibility for the entire team. Now, that is incredibly useful when handling some of those customer inquiries. So if a customer does call to discuss their quotation, if you are not the direct salesperson, then you've got all of that information to hand just by having those few key details there through the custom fields. And what that's going to ensure is that there is seamless communication, not only through departments, but between you and your customers as well. Now that we know how to input that key information, and hopefully we're all starting to see how valuable these custom fields are, having the ability to be able to track those with a field of their own, let's talk about how that's going to coincide with saving you some admin time. If you frequently email from Business Pilot or generate quote letters, then you already know how valuable these templates are. But adding those custom fields to these templates can make them even more efficient. So for example, on a document template, if I have chosen to include my scaffolding estimate section, that's going to pull through onto my document directly from my custom field. So let's take a look at my template here that includes for my scaffolding. Okay, so here's my document here with all of my quotation details. Now here is also a placeholder that I've added in for a custom field. My net price is pulling from our quoted value field that lives in our lead, but I've also got my total price here that is pulling through from my custom field of quoted gross value. Ensuring that I've put this value in at that quotation stage, that's what ensures that's going to pull through on this document for us. In addition to that, then you'll see here that I have got some text regarding my scaffolding, and it's now also able to pull through that estimated cost, again, because of my custom field. Now again, these aren't only helpful for our document templates, these can also pull through into our email templates. So I'm going to head to my lead details. And if you tuned into last week's webinar and you set up a progression to send an email against your quoted status, for example, you would see that I've got an email template that has come up here. And if I click on customize, let's take a look at some of the placeholders that have pulled through from that lead custom field. So again, I've included the same thing here with our net value, and we've also pulled through the gross value, but I'm able to include that in the body of my email due to having it as my custom field. So now feels like a good time to remind everybody how we get those placeholders into our email templates and into our document templates as well. So just as a reminder, if I was creating that in my email templates, if I wanted to add in a field, I can simply go to my drop down here of placeholders. I could find my lead custom field options, which are all here, and you have the option of your 1 to 5. And when I select it, that will just add that placeholder in for me. Now, how this works with our document templates, I'm currently in my Manage Document Templates area, and I'm going to click on the I symbol. And that's going to bring me up a list of all of the placeholders that I have available to include from within a document. Now I'm going to head to the contract section just to show you that they also exist for those as well. So you have also got here your contract custom fields, and that is exactly the same. You'll just be copying and pasting that placeholder, and you'll be inserting this into your Word document in order for it to pull through correctly. So to recap, let's go over what we know so far. So we know what custom fields are. We know how to create them and how to use them. And we also know how to integrate them into our templates. So now what I'm eager to talk to you about is how this is going to help with your contract management and also your internal communication. Now, how this is helpful is when filling in these fields in a lead area, for example, they are going to populate into the contract record, and that's going to make handovers to operations much more seamless. So to demonstrate this, let's go and take a look in a contract. Okay, and under our contact info box, what you're going to see here is the fields that I populated earlier. Now, this has now been converted through into a contract, so I'm still seeing those fields, but I'm now seeing them in our contract area. Now, what this is especially useful for is tracking some of those details that the customer has been previously informed of, such as that scaffold estimate. But it's also going to be helpful for things such as vulnerable customers. What this is going to allow you to do is prepare your installation team to make any necessary arrangements in advance and just to take extra care when dealing with this particular customer, all because of a handover due to sales over into operations. Now, while we're talking about our contract, let's take a look at our contract-specific custom fields that I have created. You're going to find them just below that contract instructions box. And what this will allow you to track, just for some inspiration here, I've included to track my financial provider here, so whoever is providing my customer their finance. I've even got my scaffold date as well. So what that's going to allow me to do is when I have booked my scaffolding, I have somewhere physical to come and update the record to prove that I have booked that scaffold in. If you're not somebody that tracks this through the schedule board, then this is going to be a really vital status to include. I've also included a couple of others here, such as satisfactory note signed and even a bifold configuration there, or bifolds if needed as well. Evidently, these custom fields are very useful for individual records. However, they can also help you manage multiple leads and contracts efficiently. So I wanted to take you into the live contracts today to demonstrate this. And what I'm looking at here is my grid view of my live contracts. What I'm hoping to achieve here is I want to show you all that I can include in this grid view the custom fields that I created and how that can provide me with some valuable data and even help me with some of that tracking as well. So to demonstrate this firstly, I'm going to go to the top of any column and I'm going to click on the three dots. I'm then going to go down to columns. And if you would like to see the custom fields that you created, they will always be at the very bottom here. Now, here is always a good time to tell you that if you have recently created these, or if you are following me along today at home, then you won't see these immediately. Sometimes you will, but we have had the occasion that you will need to clear your cache and then log back in order to be able to see your custom fields that you have created. So I can see mine fine today, so I'm going to click in my new custom fields that I would like to see. Once I've selected them, I'm going to scroll to the end, and that is where the columns have now come into my grid view. Now is always a good time to remind you that you can always drag and drop these columns over, and you can create a bespoke view of your own. Okay, so if today I was looking to create a report to see how many satisfactory notes I'd have had signed since the beginning of the year based on the installations I have done, I would go to my install start date column and I'm going to apply a filter against my dates. So what I'm trying to do here is consolidate that 3-month time period. So I'm going to put in from the 1st of January is after or equal to, and then I'm going to do is before or equal to, and I'm going to put in the last day of this month. So that's my date filter. So now I'm going to click on filter. And that's consolidated that install start date column. Now, on top of that, I'm going to go to my satisfactory note signed column, and I'm going to click on the 3 dots, and I'm going to go down to filter. And then under my contains box, I'm going to type in yes. And then we click on filter again. So what I'm looking at here is a list of those contracts that I've installed between January and March, and I can see here that I've got a list of the ones that have got a satisfactory note signed. Now, it's always key to remember here that if I've now gone in and created a view that I would particularly like to see time and time again, so for example with this one, I've always got the option to click on the save button, and I can save and name this particular view. When I do that, I can then come back in next time, and then I can just select from the view then. Now, one thing that always bears repeating in Business Pilot as well, I think it's a really great feature that we have, is our export options from within these grid views as well. So just if I wanted to run this particular report that I've just created, I have the option to click on export to Excel, and then here you'll see export visible to Excel. And what that means is it is only going to export the view that I have just created. If I do export to Excel, it will just default to my default options in here that I ordinarily have. So it's really great to remember that you've always got the option to export that created version as well. And that concludes our custom field run through. Now, normally at this point in a webinar, I would give you my top 3 tips in getting started with this area of the system. However, with the custom fields, I almost wanted to part today with more of an exercise that I think would be a good thing to do to get you going with the custom fields. And I think the most crucial step here is just to think about the key information that you wish to be able to track. Now, you might choose to isolate this by departments. For example, is there something that you're not able to track at the moment at quotation/lead stage? Do you think there's almost a bit of a fall down between the handover process from lead to contract stage? Or is there something that you just feel you're not able to report on at the moment? So is there something falling down with the internal reporting for you? Or is there something you think would just slightly elevate that reporting? My other tip here really would be to ask your team for input. Sometimes with these custom fields, it might be that this can replace a need for someone's mental note, or even an email that is being sent each time that could be replaced by a custom field. Now, what this is going to achieve is a much smoother workflow. So I want to say a huge thank you for all of you for joining today again. I've really enjoyed hearing the feedback from these webinars so far, and I'm just thrilled to see the value that it is bringing. We are going to be sending out a feedback request again by email today. So if I could please ask that you do take a couple of minutes just to share your thoughts and provide any feedback so we can continue bringing these valuable webinars to you. I can see that I've had a couple of questions come in today, so I'm just going to get those answered now. And if anyone else has any more, please feel free to pop those in the comments and I'll get those answered for you today as well. And thank you all again so much for joining me. Let's get these questions answered.
Hi, Arwen. That was brilliant. I learned lots on that one. I wasn't down on the custom fields. Yeah, I've done lots
I'm hoping it's given people a bit of inspiration as well, because even people that have been on the system a while sometimes want the inspiration for them. So yeah, hopefully people have got a bit of inspo on them today as well.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we've had a few questions in, but given last week, I'd like to get your screen set up before we start the Q&A.
Let's do that.
We can make sure that that's working. So let's try and get your screen back on with your system.
Right.
So we can, just to be sure and to save my sanity. Right, let's add this to the stage. Okay, so I can see it.
Me too, but we've learned that doesn't mean anything, Lauren.
Let me just, I'm just going to wait for the live bit to catch up.
We need Phil.
Before we start talking through it. Okay. Right, just bear with us, guys. I'm just checking that you can see what we can see. It's more of a delay than I realised, actually.
Yeah.
Hooray! It's working.
Yes. I was going to scramble again to answer the question.
Excellent. Right, let's get on with some questions. So I've had a couple on email, and there's been one on YouTube as well. Thank you for that, guys. If there's any more, do just drop them in the comments now for us. Okay, so first one. Asking about when you've added the custom fields and you can't see them in the grid views.
Yes.
How do you do a cache clear?
Oh, okay. So I'm in Chrome today, but it is a very similar concept in any browser. So you normally look towards the top right-hand corner. In Chrome, it's going to be the 3 dots. And then you go to your delete browsing data. Again, this might be labeled slightly differently depending.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you can choose your time range. We do normally say to do it between now and the end of time. I think I've got mine set to 7 days, so I do it quite regularly, but you can do it between the end of time as well. And then you just do your delete data.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it because it's going to make me log back in if I do that, but then you delete data and then log back into Business Pilot, and then it should overcome that and you'll be able to see them. It's just feedback I've had from training, and it's happened to me on occasion before, so I just thought it'd be worth mentioning today.
Yeah, definitely. Just means
so, yeah, if that happens.
Yeah. Just catching up with itself, isn't it? Right. Question number 2. Can anyone fill in a custom field?
Yeah, so anyone can, depending on where it is. So if, for example, it's in the contract area and you only have a sales license, obviously you still won't have access to those contracts, but permitting that you have access to the area, then anyone can fill in the custom field, yes.
Great. Okay. Okay, one last one from the email. When I use a custom field in a template, does it pull through the name of the field?
No, it doesn't. So what you'd need to do for that, and to be honest, I think there is a bit of benefit to that because you might label it slightly differently to how you want it to pull through. So I think that is quite a benefit. But just for example, I'll show you in an email template. So in my email template that I know I've got that gross custom field, I'll go into that one. So just to show everyone there, I've labeled that gross value and then I've pulled through the custom field. When you're just pulling through the custom field, it's only going to pull through the value against it. So like whitewood grain or a value against the gross value. It won't pull through the actual name of it. So you would need to label it first, then pull through the value using the custom field.
Okay. Great stuff. Yeah. Right. And one we've had through on YouTube from Esk Glazing. I'm not familiar with those guys. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Would all users have individual page profiles, or would it be standardized? I'm thinking this might be to do with the grid views.
I would assume so. Yeah, I get asked that in almost a kind of roundabout way quite a bit. So if you're referring to this view that we were looking at, that one that we created, it would only change for you as an individual. So if you save any of these views or you add any filters against columns, it would only do that for you as an individual person. So if other people wanted the same view, they would have to recreate it in their own system.
Okay.
If that's what you mean. Hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully that's what you mean, guys. If not, drop us another comment and we can come back to you later. Cool. Okay. Right. I think that's a lot. I've not had anything else through. No final questions, guys. If you do think of any sort of when we finish, then yeah, just drop them in the comments for us. We'll keep an eye on it this afternoon. So yeah, we'll come back to those. If you do have any more that you've not managed to get in time for the live demo with the screen.
No hiccups today, Lauren.
No hiccups. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. Right. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been another really good one. Thank you, Arwen. Really good content. As always, it's going to stay on YouTube. It's going to stay on Facebook. We will email you the link to it on Vimeo as well. We're starting to use Vimeo for some bits and pieces, so just putting it on all the platforms. You can watch it wherever you like. And all of the previous webinars are also available to catch up on if you missed any of them. And as Arwen mentioned earlier, we will be sending around a feedback link as well. So if you could share some feedback with us, that really does help us just to improve things. And yeah, we want to make these as helpful as possible. So if you do have any ideas on topics or anything like that, please do fire them over to us. Also, you may have seen on social media, but there will be emails coming out in the next few weeks. You can now get your VIP tickets to Fit Show. So we've got a special link for you to register for those. They're free, but the VIP one just gets you access to the VIP lounge, so you can go get coffee. You don't have to spend all your money at the NEC. And you get free cloakroom and stuff like that. So look out for that, guys, because we'd love for you to join us. We'll be back in a fortnight, Friday the 28th of March, and we're looking at the diary for that one.
We are, yes, looking at the diary.
So another good one. Thanks again, Arwen, and we'll see you all soon.
See you all soon.
Bye.